Hello, and welcome to a new video. Today is going to be about the Ice Age, so let's get right into it. An ice age is a period of time when the Earth is largely covered with ice. Believe it or not, some would say that we are in an ice age right now. If you look at our planet today, both Greenland and Antarctica are covered in deep sheets of ice, so it's not a far-fetched idea that we're in a small ice age. However, when people talk about the Ice Age, they're usually describing a time in ancient history when nearly one-third of our planet was layered in ice. That's what we're going to look at today, an ice age that lasted almost 1,000 years, from 2300 BC to 1600 BC. Christian scientists believe it started as a result of Noah's flood. In an ordinary winter, snow falls to the earth in piles and drifts. When the air warms, snow melts into puddles and eventually evaporate back into the atmosphere. Well, during an ice age, the air doesn't grow warm enough to melt snow. It piles up for hundreds of years. When this happens, the snow gets heavily weighed down and turned to solid ice sheets, ice caps, and glaciers. Ice sheets cover large, flat areas and remain stationary, meaning they don't move at all. Ice caps are just like ice sheets, except that they are found at the poles of the Earth, like Antarctica, for example. It is a continental ice cap found at the South Pole. Glaciers are huge layers of ice found on the slopes of mountains and also in valleys. Unlike ice sheets that hardly budge, glaciers move. They move because they are so heavy that gravity slowly pulls them downward, especially when the Earth warms up and they melt. Our world is full of evidence showing us where massive glaciers have scraped and scratched our planet in the past. We call these scrapes striations in the Earth. Some ancient glaciers carved out deep gorges and U-shaped valleys when they traveled. Good examples in North America are Yosemite Valley and the beautiful Grand Canyon, which was formed by melting glaciers. Glaciers would be strong enough to push giant boulders and rocks into some unusual places. We still see big rocks moved a long time ago in places like Yellowstone National Park and Stockski, Germany. We call these rocks erratics for the odd way they were carried and dropped in an ice age. Other formations created by sliding glaciers are moraines. These are large ridges of dirt and soil pushed along and left behind by melting sheets of ice. Kettle lakes are bodies of water scattered across the northern hemisphere, where some glaciers sank into the earth. The Great Lakes in North America are an example of melted glaciers. Scientists do not agree on when the ice ages occur and how many were there, nor do they agree on what caused them. Some believe our Earth had several ice ages spanning millions of years. It is also theorized that a tilt in the Earth, as well as a decrease in levels of carbon dioxide, can cause an ice age. Now, let's consider the Bible and how it ties in with the things the Earth has shown us. In Genesis chapter 7, verse 11, it tells us of a catastrophic upheaval. It says of the flood, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. The first part of this passage may be describing great volcanoes and earthquakes that erupted in the ocean floor. They could have caused the Earth's crust to break and the continents to shift. The second part of this passage could be describing the collapse of a water vapor canopy that some theorize was put in place at creation. Genesis chapter 7, verse 24 and 8 to 2 tells us that water prevails on the earth 150 days before the fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped. That means there was ongoing turmoil on the planet while Noah and his family held on to dear life aboard the ark. The volcanoes and earthquakes mentioned would have done many things. They would have warmed up the oceans from the escape of heat deep within the earth. They would have filled up the sky with ash to block the sun and cool the air. They would have pushed up mountains high enough to collect snow, and they would have caused numerous tsunamis or great tidal waves. All these conditions could contribute to an ice age. If an ice age did occur after the Great Flood, as Trajan scientists believe, then Noah's descendants were eyewitnesses to it. Furthermore, if an ice age did occur after that, then the world would be full of fossils, which are the remains of animals quickly buried and usually replaced with minerals found in water. And 95% of them are marine animals, as would be expected from a flood. A last interesting result of the Ice Age is this. With tons of ocean water locked up in ice, the level of the sea would have dropped to expose land bridges. A perfect example of this is the Bering Strait that connects Asia and North America. It is believed that after the flood, mankind and animals could have walked across the strait and migrated to the end of America. Land bridges probably also connected England to mainland Europe and Australia to New Guinea. In closing, remember this simple fact. Water cools things off, so it's quite feasible that one of the results of Noah's flood was the cooling of the earth to bring on an ice age. And that concludes today's lesson in the mystery of history. See you in the next one for lesson 6. See you next time!